Okay, we're just coming up to Belmore Park in Sydney, down the back end of Central Station, front end, whichever way you look at it. And this is the Put Australia First march and protest today. It's the 29th of November 2025. There's a lot of cops here. There's not a lot of people here. I don't have a feeling it's not going to be massive like the March for Australia's are. It's organised by Monica Schmidt and various other groups. So there's heaps and heaps of cops. There's lots of cops, and there's like minimal number of people. It's due to kick off in 3 minutes, so I don't know if the numbers will swell, but yeah, you can't throw a blanket over them at the moment. But I think they're going to march. From what I can gather, it'll be arrive here and then march to Town Hall for speeches. Yeah, so I think, yeah, there's a little bit of mainstream media. Anyway, yeah, I'll just go and have a chat to someone and I'll get back to you. I missed that little bit, so... Something happened. He just said something about not going to... or something happening at Town Hall. I missed it. I was chatting, so I missed it. And, yeah, I think they are going to march from here. Yeah, we shall see what happens. And there's, like I said, a bit of mainstream media. I'm not sure who he is. He's got a microphone, but he looks like someone. I don't know who. Or maybe they're not. Well, they have a minder, so... yeah, there's a few people wandering down. So it's growing slightly. Anyway, we'll pause again until some action happens. All right, it's about 10 past now. Like I said, heaps of cops. A little bit of media. These are mainstream media photographer guys. I can only see Channel 9. There's Gary, the cop, telling the organisers, yeah, you got to start marching. And I always say it. I say it over and over until I'm red in the face that marching first is a big mistake. And apparently they changed the date to accommodate Clover Moore and the Town Hall because they're going to pressure clean the Town Hall tomorrow on Sunday. So they had to change to Saturday, even though they had a plan. Yeah, like I said, there's a good number of cops around, and a reasonable number, but the numbers are swelling now. You got, maybe a few hundred now. Gary's on his way back to give them the nod as to whether they go, they march, or they don't, or whatever happens. But yeah, I think they're gonna march pretty soon. So we shall wait and see. Right, I think we're getting slightly closer to marching. They've put the music machine in a trolley. The cops are gathering down the bottom here. They'll be closing. That's Monica Smith in the background there in the middle. And a few of the other speakers whose names I've kind of forgotten now. But yeah, group-wise, numbers-wise, it's growing. It's definitely growing, but it's not massive. But yeah, we'll see. We have what we have. So the music stopped, the cops are all kind of gathering in down to this point. I think the other ones, they'll be stopping the traffic in a minute. And Gary is coming up to tell these guys, get ready. Here we go, microphone, when they should go.
In a couple of minutes, so that's the better leads. Police car will be in front. We're going to go down the road, we're going to turn right at that intersection, and we're going to head up towards Town Hall. So we'll be nice and slow, we won't leave anyone behind. Probably not slow enough to have a beer, but we'll probably grab a water.
Who wants to have one of the flat big ones?
You do get a beer, but for a big one.
You can do that.
So we're about to kick off. I'll get down the front, I guess, or stay here for a minute longer. But yeah, the music's back on. Yeah, a bit of K-Sand coming in now. Yeah, a little bit of mainstream media interest, not a great deal. I'm just a bit shocked Sky's not here. They would have thought they would have been their cup of tea, but they might be here somewhere. All right, let's just wait till cops are in position. Gary's there. He's just up telling everyone to get ready to march. Whoop, music's off. Maybe they're going to go. Gary's talking to the boss down there, or the guy that's in charge, the One Nation shirt guy. Yeah, we go that way, mate. Come on, get a move on. Got to get you guys done. And again, for clarity, it's March 1st. Lose your audience, and when you have a smaller audience to start with, it's a dire mistake. Anyway, people will learn. It's a convenience for the cops, so the police will reuse this group of cops to, once they've got everyone up to town hall, they'll reuse these cops to march the Palestinians around their march. All right. I think we're off. He's got a microphone covers, which always makes it difficult to know who's who and what's what. We're off, maybe. No. Come this way, go that way. Take two. Standing still. The cops are all standing still. Gary is just chatting away. Nobody's going anywhere. A little bit of movement up to the front, and that's it. I promise this is okay. Yes, we're off. Maybe? No. It's just a bit of musical issues.
We're going to head out this way onto the street and then follow the police car down there.
Okay, we got the nod.
Alright guys, let's go.
Alright, so the cops are now going to cordon off the street. They're crossing over here. Okay, and then you've got the cops that kind of come down from this side too. Probably a bit of overkill with the cops as always, but that's just how they roll. It's very quiet. I think they want to get some music playing on that little machine, but it's not happening. A bit more chanting maybe, but that's not happening either. So you get an idea of the size of the crowd from here. I would maybe estimate it at 400, 500, 300. It's very hard to say. It's kind of it now. Somewhere between 3 and 5. Maybe 5's too generous and 3's too stingy, so 4 is what I think, maybe 400 people. Alright, and it's about 25 past 12 now. Let's get down the front again. Alright, so this is the corner of Campbell and Pitt Street. So they've blocked off the tram lines for a minute, and then they're going to head up Pitt Street. Looks like there's some work going on, and there's an excavation site up there. So there is some work, so they'll make a turn here into Pitt, and I'm assuming they'll run probably the length of Pitt up to Bathurst. Just an assumption, of course. There's a bit of music coming now. It's just a bit soft. I'm a bit far away from it. It seems it's very, orderly and peaceful rally. There we go. Yeah, the mainstream media coming along now. Oh, getting interviews along the way. Could be a good interview, that guy, I reckon. didn't hear what that chant was. Elbow clown flag. And at the end of the horses, which they'll get double run today as well for the Palestinian rally. Once they clear the corner here, I'm going to get a shot of the flags. Yeah, a man and his dog, and a lady with her 2 dogs in a pram, bringing up the end, and then the 4 horses. We're at the corner now of Goulburn Street and Pitt Street, so it's continuing straight up Pitt. It's convenient to run it along Pitt for the traffic because it's a one-way street anyway, so you're not mucking up too much traffic. Well, it is from here on in.
Dead inside, like a soulless sponge.
Right, they've reached the corner of Liverpool and Pitt Street now. cops are running ahead for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they're just running to get up, yeah. Unless there's some dramas up ahead, because they're not going to come close to the, they won't come close to the other ones, the Palestinians, but they will be within a block or two. So the cops will organise it that way, that there's no... Cops. Well, the cops are all squished up because there's not that many people, so there would be like more space to park if it was a bigger crowd. So we're at the corner of Bathurst and Pitt now, and I thought they would have turned here, but yeah, the cop car's just sat in the middle here. He's moved on now finally. Yeah, I thought they would have turned, but they must be going on to Park Street. They're not turning. Yep, continue on. There's the hatred from this side as there is from they can both understand the situation, but yeah, there's complex. It's nuanced and complex. We'll leave it at that. Last few coming down, so this will be a turn here. Have to be a turn. Can't keep going. Just the way to town hall. Whoops, sorry. Here we go. Let's pause. Okay, so this is Park Street now. So it's a turn. It's a turn at Park Street, which will head down to the town hall. There's been a lot of people from the side. It hasn't been the best route ever because it's missed a lot of people in that sort of dead area, but they've got a few. The crowd might thin out here a little because it's such a wide stretch. So when they were in the two-lane part, it was quite lengthy, but now when they fill out here again, it'll be a little thinner. This guy's got his sign made out of a rake. And there's the end point, the town hall. Ahead, and we'll see them arriving. If there was to be a flashpoint with the Palestinians, this would probably be the point, because people would be coming out of Town Hall to go to Hyde Park, and there'd be the crossover. But I think the timing, they left it, they let it run pretty late over there until they marched them. As I said, for the convenience of the police. So they'll reuse all these boys for the Palestinian march later. The Jesus guy's even got a few Aussie flags up today. Oh, he's moving the cop's moving one of those shitty freaking e-bikes out of the way so we don't lose someone. The other cop is blocking off the trams. This cop's telling him to turn here, which is what they'll do. Yeah. So that is the end of the march, and they'll move into Town Hall Square here, I believe, or unless they, I don't think they'll do it on steps. I don't know, there's a dude up there with no shirt on. He's just getting some sun. So I should go up there. Maybe I won't be allowed to go up there. One guy's already up there, but.
This is the real enemy. Russia. Russia, not migrants. China and Russia are your enemies. Go God bless Australia!
No worries. Oh, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Cheers. That's very unusual for me to give a compliment. So. All right, so that's the end of that's pretty much the end of the end of everyone now, I'd say. Yeah, there's the police horses. That always indicates that that's the end of it. Yeah, let's get in and we'll see what the speeches hold for us. Oh, hey! Alright, so it's arrived at Town Hall now, and they're having a bit of music, but everyone's at the back here in the shade. It's friggin' very hot.
You better be home soon.
They're having a quick musical interlude.
Of lies and deception, acting nothing less, like a week in the desert. Here we go.
Here you go.
And I know I'm right for the first time in my life.
Yeah, got some water. There's lilies across the road. There's a little place down the stairs if you need to get some waters. Don't be irate. Lucky you got the shade there. Please sing along. I'm trying to do a couple of songs of well done.
Beauty. Well, thank you all for coming. We've made it to the first Put Australia First rally, so put your hands together for everyone in attendance. My name's Stuart. First of all, I'm representing One Nation. I'll be your host today. It's been a bit of a journey getting here. You know, I don't just need a walk from the park. I mean, even right on 12 o'clock, Sydney City Council decided that it was the appropriate time for them to start burning the stairs. So that's why we're a bit late getting started. They must have ran out of fuel, so they're failed. But we've changed the park. We're going to change the park because some unfriendly terrorist cheerleaders. We've had to change the day because of the cheerleaders. Originally we were going to go down to Hyde Park, and originally we were going to go from one park to another park till City Council said you're not allowed to have a stage in the park with any sound equipment in the park. So we said, fine, we'll come to your house, we'll come to Town Hall. The council chambers is just around the corner, so here we are. Thank you, City Council. Probably say this is about 30 grand, so start. So we promised that we provide a safe space for anyone who wanted to come here. So if anyone feels like being a comedian and shouting up the speakers and carrying on, then
you'll be from Shout, because people come here to have a good day, to listen to the people that are here. Now, they speak for themselves, they have their own points of view. Personally, I'm a One Nation member. We've got Lyle here, you know, he's from the Australian First, Family First Party, you know, there's lots of different individuals here, they all have their own views, alright? We haven't monitored to check on what everyone was going to say, so hopefully there's some good ones in there. So now with that one, our first speaker is a fifth generation Australian, her name is Meyer. Her family's been here for generations. We fought in each major war. She's going to give us a bit of her family history and some Australian values. So if you put your hands together for Lorraine.
Hello everyone. Today, I'm not used to this. Right. The three things. Oh, thank you. It's my friend-in-law who put me into this. Okay, migration, digital ID, and energy. Those are the three things today that we are supposed to be addressing, but there is so much more that does need to be addressed. I'm a very proud fifth generation Australian. Tracing my ancestors arrivals in Australia from 1832 to 1862. There were free settlers, convicts, men, women and children. They did all very well for themselves, owning pubs, having creeks and streets named after them, being offered land grants and finding gold on the goldfields, which has been lost over the generations. Am I proud that some of my ancestors were convicts? Not particularly. But I'm certainly proud of how they turned their lives around and how well they did for themselves after they arrived here. If you look closely at generational Australians, you will find my story is not all that unusual. Australia prospered on the backs of these people, both free settlers and convicts alike. Their resilience, they had the will to succeed, to come about a better life for themselves here than what they had left behind. We have no They brought with them their Judeo-Christian values, and for over 200 years, these values have served us very well. We have no concept of how hard it must have been for them, but we should be thanking them for helping to make Australia the great country it is today. Family members, from both sides of my family, have served in wars and conflicts that Australia has been involved in over the years. My grandfather during the First World War, my father a conscript in the Second World War. They've been in, and not just limited to, the Boer War, First, Second World Wars. Some not returning, paying the ultimate sacrifice, buried fields in other countries, others coming back with physical injuries, plus the mental scars that go with being in any field of war. They went to war to keep Australia and Australians safe and free. Safe and free in every sense of the word. Our national anthem states, we are one and free. Are the sacrifices of all our military personnel going to be for nothing? What were our ancestors who helped build this country and our ancestors who fought for it, and in some cases dying, feel about what is happening here? I've been absolutely appalled and disgusted with both our federal and state governments after the last 2 or so years, and I'm really worried about what their agenda is. In their arrogance, they are not respecting and totally ignoring the will of the Australian people. On the Australian Government Department of Home Affairs website, There is a list of Australian values and principles that all relevant visa applicants must agree to as part of their visa application. I wonder how many MPs and senators know what they are. I'll just quickly read them. Respect for the freedom and dignity of the individual. Freedom of religion, including the freedom not to follow a particular religion, freedom of speech, and freedom of association. Commitment to the rule of law, which means that all people are subject to the law and should obey it. Parliamentary democracy, whereby our laws are determined by parliaments elected by the people. Those laws being paramount and overriding any other inconsistent religious or secular laws. Equality of opportunity for all people, regardless of their gender, sexual orientation, age, disability, race, or national or ethnic origin. A fair go for all that embraces. Mutual respect, tolerance, compassion for those in need, equality of opportunity for all. The English language as the national language. And as an important unifying element of Australian society. It's all online, there's a lot more to it. I haven't seen too much of these values to the fore lately. Our gas and coal are sold overseas where we're not allowed to use it, causing energy prices higher. Old growth forests have been destroyed for wind farms, and people's farms have been taken over for more wind farms. The monetary and environmental costs must be enormous. How much flora and fauna have been destroyed? How many animals have been lost? All the wind farms are made in China, and only yesterday that there is supposedly asbestos in them. Really? It is a privilege, not a right, to be allowed to migrate and live in this great country. But we are bulging at the seams. No government has ever been given a mandate for a big Australia to change our culture or to make this a socialist, communist or Marxist country. The politicians seem to forget that they are public servants and work for us, all Australians. Now, to take something from the people who win the 1972 election and slay the slogan of Labor, it's time to do the right thing for Australia and all Australians, to stop destroying Australia and put Australia first.
Lorraine was only at the pub for her 20th birthday, so she's here with us. So next up, we've got a video from a man that really needs no introduction. He couldn't be here himself, unfortunately, but he sent us over a video. He's loved and hated around the world. He led the largest protest in United Kingdom's history. I personally donated money to his cause many years ago when he was unjustly locked up for highlighting the Pakistani grooming gangs who were raping the citizens of the United Kingdom. He filmed them outside of court and threw him in jail. Well, Tommy Robinson has rose from the death and he's going to see the notes in this video. So to the one and only Tommy Robinson.
Coming up together. I wish I could have been there with you today. What message would I have brought from the United Kingdom, from my country? I'd have been warning you, as I've been trying to warn the world for nearly 2 decades. How anyone in Australia can look at Europe, look at Great Britain, look at France, look at Germany, look at any of the countries, look at Sweden, and they can't see the total failure of importing Islam into your nation. So to you Australians, pat yourself on the back for today. You've shown courage coming out today. Because I know what you face. I know the arguments amongst your family. I know the friends looking at you differently, thinking you've gone mad, thinking patriotism is something wrong, nationalism is something wrong, pride in your country is something wrong. Why must you not listen or be worried by any of these words? Because your children and the next generation of Australians depend on it. So my message to you in Australia is stand up now. Unite now. Do not back down now. Never back down. Never be ashamed. Always as I said, I wish I could be here with you today, but I want all of you to pat yourself on the back. You've shown courage, people talk about heroes, legends. Today, every single one of you is a hero. Every one of you is a legend. For showing courage. It takes courage and bravery to go against the grain. To stand at a time right now, when political correctness, when hate groups, when the far left, the government, the corrupt media are all going to attack you. You know they're going to attack you. But what gives inspiration to others? We want to inspire people with our movement on September 30th. Today, you are the inspiration. You're the inspiration to other Australians sitting at home. Other people who are too scared to come out. You're showing them that they're mainstream. You're not a friend group. You're not a friend. You can't use your friend. It's not friendly to oppose sexual exploitation of children, to be against mass immigration, to be against Islam takeover, to defend your own culture. None of these are friendly views. They have for too long made us feel like we're on our own. You're not on your own. We stand with you. Britain stands with you. Europe stands with you. Patriots across the world stand with you. So that's my message. Have a great day. Another message? Never let Nazis into your movement. I know you've made a great stand for that. I know how you are infiltrated. We will infiltrate. Don't people infiltrate you, if you hit the streets, I guarantee you they're going to stay. I guarantee you they're funded by the government. I guarantee you they're in bed with each other. Because their job is to discredit your legitimate message. So you show a great standard and make sure, because those groups, those people, those ideologies, Islamism, Nazism, opposite sides of the same group. They both need to be defeated. You've made a great stand today. God bless Australia. The future belongs to patriots, okay? We've gone through hell, we've gone through hell, we're fighting. You can learn from our mistakes. Stand behind the great politicians that are speaking up about these issues. Find any citizen journalists to back them and support them. The mainstream media are the cancer, citizen journalism is the answer. It's the cure. Thank you, Australia. Again, at some point I'd love to be in Australia, to stand with you, to meet you, to embrace you. Show my love in the country. Thank you so much.
Perfect. So, our next speaker is the National Director of Family First Party. He's a former journalist. Don't hold that against him. He's a long-time Christian advocate for faith, family and freedom. Put it together for Lyle Shelton.
Well, thanks very much, Stuart. I want to begin with an acknowledgement of country, but not just any acknowledgement of country. This is an acknowledgement of love of country. And in doing so, I want to pay tribute to our organiser, Monica Smith, for her love of country and organising today. Not many of us have been to jail for our convictions. Well, in today's Week in Australia, a hero of mine, former Deputy Prime Minister John Anderson, said this. He said, the Australian people know that our nation is not doing well, but they also know that our politicians are taking us for mugs. We're here today, folks, because we love our country and we know we've been let down by the political class. But the good thing about Australia is that it's still a democracy, it's a participatory democracy, and patriots like you are starting to participate again. And it's incumbent upon us to participate in such a way that we agitate for the removal of the politicians who are causing the problems that we are here today to face. Mass immigration. In the first term of the Nweze government, 1 million people came and permanently settled here in Australia. None of us are anti-migrants, but no one asked us if we wanted 1 million people, more than 1 million people in 3 years, and still coming. Tony Abbott might have stopped the boats, but Anthony Albanese has opened the borders. And we've got a problem with assimilation. When we have Muslim sheikhs like Dedan after October 7 out here in Western Sydney saying, I am elated, I'm excited, after Jews were massacred and raped, and Muslim Australians standing around and yelling Allah Akbar, that is un-Australian, folks. We need assimilation in this country. All people of all colour, all race and religion are welcome, but they have to be here and support Australian values. It's un-Australian to support terrorism. It's un-Australian to be calling for religion as a motivation of terrorism to be taken out of our definition of terrorism. The second thing we're concerned about is freedom of speech and digital ID. Protecting children online from the harms of social media and pornography is a good idea. A digital ID is a bad idea. And whatever we do to protect children online must not become a stalking horse for censoring our freedom of political communication in the new public sphere, which is social media. And Julie Grant is the wrong person to be leading any move to protect children online, because she protects people online who support bestiality. She censors you and I online. She should resign. We need to keep freedom of speech alive in this country. The third thing we're concerned about is what's happening to our electricity bills and our prosperity as a nation. We have an endowment, an embarrassing endowment of coal, gas, uranium. Yet we're not allowed to use it here. We ship it out to China and India so their people can have cheap and reliable electricity. They burn it in the atmosphere, the same atmosphere that we share. But we're somehow saving the planet if we don't burn it here. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. And it's our politicians who are causing this. It's madness. And don't just think that because the Liberals have done net zero in Canberra, that the Liberals have done net zero. Because all of the state Liberal leaders are still in love with net zero and have doubled down on supporting net zero. And they're the ones who decide whether our coal-fired power stations get turned off. They're the ones who decide your electricity bill and whether business can be able to function and whether there's pressure put on our families from high electricity prices. Ladies and gentlemen, net zero cannot change the temperature of the planet. Net zero cannot run a modern industrialised economy. But net zero can and is destroying your family's future prosperity. We're here today because we have a better vision than the dystopian vision that our politicians are serving up to us. We believe in a free Australia, freedom of speech. We believe in welcoming migrants, but at levels that cause our economy to turn our houses and become unaffordable. We believe in unleashing our prosperity by unleashing the endowment that our nation has, because we believe in a better Australia and we want our families to flourish and prosper, and we can do that if we put Australia first. Thanks very much.
So shame on them. Our next speaker is a first-generation immigrant. He's an outspoken advocate of the harmful ideologies that are detrimental to Australia's social cohesion. He's from Iran, so everybody, I give you Ali.
Let me make myself absolutely clear first and foremost. All cultures are not equal. I cannot believe we live in a time that such a simple and objective statement is considered controversial. The fact that certain cultures are superior to other cultures is not up for debate. Culture is not merely the same as race is an immutable characteristic, while culture is changeable. So while diversity in race is irrelevant and in many ways a beautiful thing, but with diversity in culture, chaos and disorder will ensue. So it is not racist to want to protect and preserve Australian values and culture. Because no matter what race we all come from, all must integrate under one Australian culture. Now let's talk about Australian culture. My family came to Australia as first-generation immigrants from Iran when I was 1. And as a result, I am forever grateful to them for having lived the best life in the greatest country in the world, the lucky country, my beloved Australia. From Blinky Bill to Healthy Harold, from Steve Irwin to Russell Coit, from Waltzing Matilda to Down Under, from AC/DC to Crocodile Dundee, and from the surf to the bush, and everything in between, you name it, I'm all for it. And of course, the lovely Lorraine has already mentioned the great Australian values. But now I want to talk about why we have to protect and preserve these great Australian values. You see, I come from a country where women were given suffrage rights before Switzerland, but today women are half the value of a man by constitutional law under a Sharia gender apartheid. I come from a country that was the first ever to abolish slavery and introduced the first ever Bill of Human Rights 2,500 years ago, but today is home to the highest rate of executions in the world per capita and the leading state sponsor of global scale terrorism. Now, why do I tell you this? I tell you this as a proud Australian Iranian patriot, as a warning. Please do not make our mistake. It is absolutely paramount that we do not become complacent and allow any fallacious degree of tolerance to prevail, because that is exactly how we appropriate harmful ideologies and allow them to infiltrate Australian society. Tolerance in the face of intolerance will breed an intolerant society. So it is absolutely imperative that we remain intolerant to intolerance. It is imperative that we remain intolerant to the most evil ideologies of the 20th century alongside another. That is the unholy trinity of Marxism, Nazism, and Islamism. All three of which have the capability to undermine the very core Australian values and culture that we all cherish and hold dear to our hearts. But do you know what all three of these cancerous ideologies fear the most? A robust, strong, unified sense of Australian patriotism, the most beautiful thing in the world. My beloved Australians, I'll end by saying that unless we as proud patriotic Aussies despise what we are not, we cannot possibly love and cherish what we are. And what we aren't is Marxist, we're not Islamists, we're not Nazis, but we are many, we are one, we are Australian. Long live Australia. Bless you all. Thank you.
That was good. Give that man a job. All right. Next up, our next speaker is the CEO
He's got over 700 staff across Australia with Netcare. He's another proud migrant who has contributed to this country, created jobs, built multiple business ventures from scratch. He's an outspoken about the failures of our political class, the cost of living crisis, and this cultural nonsense that's affecting everyday Australians. Everyone, I give you Emeka.
Good afternoon. I know that many of you might not know who I am. Maybe you've seen me online. My name is Edwin Nweze, and it is my absolute pleasure to be here today to have a chat with all of you. I came to Australia in 2007. I was only 15 years old. And since then, I've done a lot of work to serve in the Australian Air Force. I did that for almost 8 years out in Brisbane. And I enjoyed my time doing that. Now, I have to tell you guys something. I came from Africa. And yes, we've heard a lot today that one of the failures of our government is that they're overdoing the migration, right? But there is another problem with that I see that is actually quite serious. Because when I came from Africa, like many of the other migrants that came here, we came here because we wanted a better life. Australia presented us a better life. So here is the problem with that. When we come and we decide that we don't like the way you guys do what you do and we want to change it, that's not okay. There is a lot of people that come here from wherever they do, and rather than doing what they need to do to assimilate into the Australian values, the one that has made the Western world so much better than where we are from, they don't. They do what they need to do to try and change it, and that is not okay. And I'm an African, I'm saying that. I came here for a better life, and it gave me a better life. I've been able to provide jobs for so many people now because I get to work hard because Australia gave me a better life. And so how dare these people do what they do and come here and enforce things that don't belong to this place? If you wanted those things, stay where you came from. I didn't come here because I wanted to bring what I brought. I wanted to experience what the Western values of Australia had to offer me. But that's just the start, because now that I am here, I want to do everything I possibly can to make a difference. And here is the thing that I've been learning recently. The Australian government has taken its people for granted. For far too long, they've watched you guys going Liberal, Labour, Liberal, Labour. And they know that they can count on the fact that you will never change that decision. So they can do whatever the hell they want to do because you're not going to do anything better about it. They know that they can do whatever the hell they want to do because you're not going to participate in democracy to change the narrative that they want you to have. So here's the thing I want to say today. I just don't want this to be about me telling you where I'm from. I want you to learn something that you can do to change what we have. Being here at the rally today is not enough, not a clue, not a chance. You have to participate in democracy. Did you know that LNP, Liberal and Labour, they're not a government organization, they are private organizations like any other party? And you can become a member and you can vote the people that are representing you and tell them that they can't do the things that they do because so many Australians are not down for it, but they're not listening to you. They don't give a damn what you think. Do you know why? Because they know that next year you will vote for them again. So I am asking you today, with all sincerity and all the passion I can muster up, that if you do the same next year, we will have the same results. So for once Sydney, for once Australia, look at the people that you're going to vote for. Turn up to the meetings where you have these members turning up and deciding. Let me tell you a quick story. When I was in Brisbane, I attended a membership meeting that is once a month for our local federal member. In that meeting, there were only 40 people there. 40 of the people that were there were people that were in their 60s, 70s, 80s. I was 30 at the time, and I was the youngest in the room. Do you know what that means? That there's so many people. We have 134,000 people in that electorate, but there were only 40 people representing them. That means Australians are so quiet. You are happy to get busy. And by the way, that's what they're doing to you. They make you so busy. They keep you working hard. They keep you doing all the overtimes, and as cost of living goes up, so you don't have the time to participate in what you can participate in to change what we have. So stop being too busy for your own good and turn up to these meetings. Figure out who your local member is and turn up. And you can hold them accountable. You can tell them, I do not like what you've done. What you've done does not represent my values and what I want, and I'd like you to stop. And if you do that, and you do that enough, and you show them that if you don't listen, we will not vote for you, guess what? They will listen. And that's what we want. So it's not enough to just come to a rally. You have to turn up to those meetings. Find out the name of your local member and go to those meetings. Find out where they are and go there. And stop this and let us put this together. Let us put this madness to an end, because it's too much and we've had enough, and together we can stop it. And that's how we will put Australia first again. Thank you.
Amy, that was brilliant. Well done. Righto guys, I'm going to say a couple of words myself. As if you haven't heard enough from me already. Righto. Again, thank you all for coming here. We can't put on these events without you. It's been extremely difficult to get here, as I explained before. It takes a lot of guts to stand where you're standing right now. We're in the midst of changes throughout the Western world that have never been attempted before. Never has a set of governments deliberately attempted to replace the native population. Our kindness has been taken advantage of. Our Christian-based culture has been spat on. Our flags have been burned. Our people are being replaced in our own nations. The UK released its immigration data this week. Net 200,000 people. That's the lowest level since about 2001. But the devil is in the detail. Their immigration number, so the number of people that left, was 700,000 people. So the actual immigration numbers was 900,000 people. If you replace the people, you replace the culture. If you replace the culture, you replace the country. If you move the population of Australia to Japan, it's not Japan anymore. These changes are being forced upon us. And they are not for the good of the people and the culture of the people that already live here. I do not blame the immigrants. I would want to move to Australia too if I had the opportunity. They are human beings too, but they are being used as a political tool to stack the deck and increase the voting base. They're doing it to make economic data look better than it really is. They're doing it to prop up a toxic leftist welfare ideology. This very ideology threatens the underpinning values that support Australian life. I don't care if you're from Iraq, Somalia, the Philippines. If you are living here now, if you call Australia home, then mass immigration is no good for your family either. Mass immigration is good for no one, including the hundreds of thousands of people that are being brought over here. This mass immigration experiment must end, and one nation will put an end to it. We aren't only here to point out the failed ideology that is net zero. Net zero is a fantasy. It's a cult-like belief that we can change the temperature of the earth from Australia. What net zero really is social engineering. Net zero is modern slavery. It is an excuse to strip the Australian people of their land, their money, and their freedom. Net zero is the government implementing social controls that would be impossible to introduce any other time. I drive a V8, I run Angus cattle on my farm, I cook steaks on a gas barbecue, and if they think I'm going to give away my wooden fireplace, they can go fuck themselves. Australia once had the cheapest electricity on the planet. We manufactured everything from cars to dishwashers. A lot of it was done when we were still using horses to drag coal out of coal mines. Now we can't even make a pane of glass. Our last glass factory is closed. Our smelters are closing. Manufacturing is dead in this country. We can't manufacture plastic. And the government's Future Made in Australia fund is nothing more than a taxpayer bailout account that's being used to prop up once profitable businesses. Shame on Albo. That's exactly right. Shame on Albo. Shame on the Labor Party. It used to be the party of the worker. They destroy it. They are the party of welfare. It's a disgrace. It's more of a disgrace that they're taking our union funds and pumping it into that party. It is an insult. I won't repeat that, but yes. Well, what's One Nation going to do to fix this? Right, there's a lot of problems. What are we going to do to fix it? Well, I'm glad you asked. We will deport anyone from this country that shouldn't be here. If you've lied on your student visa to get here, gone. If you've overstayed your tourist visa, gone. If you're on a visa, a tourist visa, and you've committed any illegal offence that's larger than a speeding ticket, you're gone. We will force owners of residential and agricultural land to sell their real estate within 2 years. Australian housing is for Australian people. It should not be owned by foreign corporations. We will halt the immigration intake immediately. We want to give Australian people a say on who's coming into their country and how many people are coming into their country. We introduced a bill on Thursday for a plebiscite to give the Australian people a vote. We put it there on the floor of the Senate. And it was vehemently opposed by every other party in the Senate. We want to open up more land for development, sack activist judges that hand down sentences that don't meet the community's expectations. So that's what we'll do in the first week. But honestly, thank you all for coming again. We need your voice. Don't let your enthusiasm stop here. Join a local branch. Join the party. Sign up as a member. Get behind people that get behind you. I want you to learn about the political system. Talk to people about these issues. But most importantly, we need you to hand out at election time. That's the most important thing. Join the fight. We are one culture, under one flag. We are one nation. Thank you all for coming. Now we're going to hand it over to a young bloke. Here he is.
So he's travelled a fair distance to get down here, so I'd like you to put your hands together for a young bloke. He's going to point out the importance of sticking together. He's pumped up a decent social media following, so he's take a few pictures of him. We'll flick it to him later, he can pump them up there. Ladies and gentlemen, Lockie.
Before I begin, I would like to ask you all a set of questions. What would you like Australia to look like in the years to come? What state will we leave this country in for our future generations? But most importantly, what will Australia become if we don't stand up? My fellow Australians, we are gathered here today because we are witnessing the downfall of this great nation. The mainstream media has tirelessly attempted to misrepresent and demonise this group. But as I look around, I see nothing but Aussies that just want what's best for their country. I see a variety of people, young, old, black and white, people that truly embody the Aussie spirit of courage, mateship and resilience. Aussies whose intentions are motivated not by the hatred of other cultures, but by the love of their own. My fellow Australians, as you know, the stakes have never been higher. We are in a turning point of history, and there has never been a better time to turn to your neighbour and unite. For too long, we have been divided as we have fought with one another over pointless issues, too distracted to see the true evil we are up against. Today's march signifies our resistance against digital ID, mass immigration, and net zero. However, I would argue that we are selling ourselves short. To me, freedom and privacy is a basic human right. How appalling that we must be here to ask for the bare minimum. For decades, the corruption that exists within our government has encroached on our rights, and we have had enough. It is okay to ask for more. I dream of an Australia free from government corruption, whose people live happily and prosper. I dream of a nation free from foreign lobbyists, where politicians do not sell their people out to the highest bidder. I dream of a society that is not divided by the mainstream media. I dream of a democracy led by those who we admire, who have not been elected because they are the lesser of two evils. I dream of a political party that unquestionably and always puts Australia first. We the people need to be reminded of the power we wield. We not only have the opportunity to heal this great nation, but to make it better than ever before. But if we're going to do anything, if we're going to change anything, the change from within has to happen first. So, if there is anything you take from this speech, it is this. Love thy neighbour. Forgive your enemy. Forget your pride. Courage is calling, and for those who are hesitant to speak up, I want you to know you are not alone. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers of darkness of this world. A bright future does exist for this country, but if we're going to get there, we have to do it together. Thank you.
Well done. Now that's about it for the speakers, guys. But we're going to put the we're going to put a song on, and then we're going to sing the anthem. But I just want to do a few thank yous. Just got to find this list. I want to thank you, everyone, for coming, because obviously we can't have these events without a crowd, so thank you all for coming down. You have no idea the hours of work that it takes to put all this together, so I hope, you really hope you've had a good day. I want to say a big thank you to the police. Can you put your hands out to the police? Thank you so much for us. Thank you enough, thanks to these guys. Now, thanks to Monica for getting this off the ground. Monica. David for dealing with the cops. Helping us sort that out. Thanks to the guys who did the filming, the photos, the music, the sound, dealt with the council, the more. You've been great. It's been a hell of an adventure. It's been a bit of an adventure to put this on, so look, we'll put the tunes on now. You've heard enough from me. Thanks again for coming, guys. Cheers. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
Alright, so we have to do this song. We want you all to sing along, please. And yeah, we're not going to do all the verses because it goes on forever. But yeah, here's one you definitely know.
Once a Johnny swagman had by a billabong under the shade of a cool pine tree, and he sang as he watched and waited till his belly boiled. He'll come along, sing Matilda with me, everybody. Won't sing Matilda, won't sing Matilda. You'll come along, sing Matilda with me. And sang as he watched and waited till his belly boiled. Come along, sing Matilda with me. Down came the jumper to drink at the billabong. Up jumped the swagman and grabbed him in the knee, and he sang as he tucked that jumper in his tucker bag. Come along, sing Matilda with me, everybody. Won't sing Matilda, won't sing Matilda. You come along, sing Matilda with me. And he sang as he sewed that jumper in his tucker bag. Come along, sing Matilda with me, everybody. Won't sing Matilda, won't sing Matilda. You come along, sing Matilda with me. And he sang as he watched and waited till his belly boiled. You'll come along, sing Matilda with me. Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free, with golden soil and wealth for joy. Our home is good by sea, our land abounds in nature's gifts, all beauty rich and rare, in history's page.
wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much for showing up again. Thank
who hate universities and hate everything that they stand for. And at the moment, we're in the midst, aren't we, of one of the most powerful surges of the far right for decades, spearheaded by the mobilisations that we've seen around the country in the wake of the magnificent March for Humanity at the start of August. And let's not forget that today is the International Day of Solidarity with Palestinian people. And on that occasion, I think it's worth reminding ourselves how we got here. This whole sequence of far-right mobilisations that we've seen needs to be understood as a response to that magnificent hundreds of thousands strong march across the Harbour Bridge. And politics is the same as everything else. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So it's no surprise that the biggest anti-racist, internationalist, anti-militarist mobilisation that we have seen in this country for decades and decades across the Harbour Bridge has triggered this disgusting spasm of far-right activity. Now, the official publicity for the rallies today wants us to accept that they're just ordinary people concerned about the cost of living. Bullshit. Bullshit. You don't have to dig very far at all to discover their real agenda. Racism, Islamophobia, climate denial, transphobia, opposition to women's rights, opposition to abortion, militarism, bootlicking of the extractive industries. All of that wrapped up in an ideological package full of slogans about Western civilization, about Judeo-Christian civilization and values. It's as ludicrous as it is Philistine. It comes from the intellectual equivalent of the back of a cereal packet, and it is bereft of any real basis or credibility. Now, we know that some people, including some people on the left, want to brush those goons and hoodlums down the street off as fringe actors who are best ignored. And people who want to think that way really need to pull their heads out of the sand, because their movement has powerful enablers everywhere in politics. As Tudor and Chauvin have said, they have a Labour Party that has validated genocide for over 2 years and that has done everything in its power to smash those of us who call them out. I mean, I don't know whether people saw Chris Minns the other day at that grotesque launch at the Opera House of the Australian's new glossy volume in which Zionists reclaim the Opera House as their territory following the allegedly anti-Semitic march there on October the 10th or October the 9th or whenever it was. A march that many of us were at, including me, a march that threw up the handful of actual anti-Semites who were there, and a march that has stood for justice, equality for everyone, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of origin, regardless of their religion, everywhere in the Middle East between the Mediterranean and the Jordan. Yet Chris Minns still found it possible to go along and add his political clout to the exact opposite narrative designed with no other purpose in mind than to paint our movement, a movement about internationalism, solidarity, justice and peace, as foul anti-Semitism. They are the kinds of political opponents that we have lined up against us. On the conservative side of politics, the conservative side they call it, we have the Liberal Party, the National Party, so many forces within those formations careering to the right, thanks to figures like Andrew Hastings and others. As people have mentioned, we've got One Nation polling more strongly than it has at any time in almost the last 30 years, 18% in Queensland. And that agenda has no shortage of support from business leaders, from the mining industry, from the fossil fuel sector, from weapons dealers, and it is enabled and whitewashed by a complacent media. Now, as I said, I work in a university. The far right detests us because universities are still, despite everything, reservoirs of critical thought about society. They're places where people feel a license to challenge or experiment with the status quo. The universities have been taken over by the very forces that are complacently facilitating the rise of toxic nationalism in our society. No part of society, I think, has fought the Palestine solidarity movement as systematically or as consistently and relentlessly as universities have. Universities have completely capitulated. They have completely capitulated to the pro-Israel lobby over the last 2 years, the Zionist lobby, and that fact is the clearest indication we could ask for of where politics lies at the apex of social and institutional power in our country. We draw the same conclusion from the way that universities have slavishly courted weapons research and military money. Or their attempt just this week, did people see this? The attempt by the group of 8 universities to water down environmental protections in this country. So, support for the Zionist lobby and its genocide, reckless, relentless support for militarism, determination to crush protest and political dissent on campus, opposition to proactive action for the environment. They are the policies that are being introduced and rolled out in universities today. They remind you of something? They sound very similar to the policies being promoted by those goons and hoodlums in the March for Australia and the Put Australia First movement, whatever they're called this week. Universities, of course, are run by middle-class managers. They like nothing better than to flounce around, pose their progressivism, but they replicate in a different key many of the very policies that the far right is out on the street in the ugliest way possible to defend. And those university managers who sign my paychecks and sign the degrees of students, they tell us something, I think, about the sources and the real drivers of toxic far-right politics in this country. Much as we need to be out on the streets every time opposing Put Australia First and March for Australia rallies, we also need to fight their respectable enablers in the political and social establishment. And that is something I'm very proud to say that my union, the National Tertiary Education Union, has explicitly committed to doing.
Hey.
The Bridge March at the start of August started something. It started a deep-seated, widely felt movement rejecting genocide, rejecting militarism, rejecting racism, and standing up for a world predicated on peace, on justice, on the driving out of race hate and other forms of prejudice from our society. It's not enough to turn up for a once-in-a-decade massive popular mobilisation. That's not enough. We have to follow through by actually taking the fight to the far right when they try to mobilise as they are today. We're small today because there are lots of other events happening. Full solidarity to the rising tide protesters in Newcastle. Full solidarity to our comrades in other left-wing organisations who have had long-standing other meetings on today. They would be here with us if it weren't for those meetings. We have an obligation here that is very serious, that is to build this movement. I'm a proud founding member of this new organisation against racism and fascism that Chauvel and Truba have referred to. We need to build that organisation into a real grassroots force that cannot be ignored, so that next time we mobilise, we have 5, 10, 20, 100 times the numbers that we have with us today, and it is on every single one of us here to make sure that happens. I couldn't be more excited or more proud to stand with you as we make that happen. Congratulations for being here, comrades. Racism is not welcome. No platform for Nazis. Racists off our streets. Fascists off our streets. Thank you.
Racist or not? Migrants are welcome! 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 Racist or not?